You're finally awake.
The world of Atreyu and Artax, the Rockbiter, and a good and kind gnome.
You keep quiet, wench.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call him kind. Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to my review of A Never-Ending Story from 1984 from director Wolfgang Petersen and based on the book of the same name. This is officially my favorite live-action movie. It's so much so my favorite movie that I got Falcor the Luck Dragon tattooed into my skin. I did go over this in a previous video, but he is now fully complete now. So he's all done. He is still healing, but he is very much done, and I love it. Absolutely love it. But yeah, let's talk about this. What can I say about this movie? It's an absolute classic. Everyone knows about this movie. Probably for the trauma it caused.
You're my friend. I love you.
Oh yes, we are talking about the movie that killed a horse. This is a German-made fantasy movie. It's the quintessential fantasy movie on par with The Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal. The effects are incredible with a mix of puppetry, camera tricks, blue screen, and really cool cloud shots that I'm pretty sure is done with like milk and dye that just looks so darn cool. Honestly, these effects, have they aged? Honestly, no, because it looks better than most stuff today, because it's all real. It's all there. That's more than what I can say for most movies today. It has incredible music, and I'm not just talking about that opening sequence. Obviously, for copyright, I can't really use it. If you don't know it, you're probably German, because there are two versions of this movie. The German extended edition and the American version, which added in like different music, shortened some scenes, and changed some of the dub. Mostly in Tiny, the one who looks like Willy Wonka. And funny enough, is played by Deep Roy, who plays the Oompa Loompas in the Tim Burton Willy Wonka movie. So how about that for a connection? I'm talking about the American version as that's what I grew up with. So finally, let's go into why I love this movie. So please do watch it all to the end and do all that liking and commenting and subscribing, all that stuff. Thank you very much. Let's get into this. The movie starts and it's just 80s greatness with music that's just so 80s and that cool cloud effect that you just don't see today. So right away you're kind of drawn in. We are introduced to the character Bastian. We quickly learn his mum passed away, he's having trouble at school, and his dad is not a good dad, and essentially just wants him to grow up.
We can't let Mom's death be an excuse for not getting the old job done, right?
Damn, Dad, I really don't like you. I hope you don't return. Oh, and he's gone. We never see him again. On his way to school, he gets thrown into the trash by some bullies, chased by them, and ends up in a bookshop.
Get out of here! Those like kids.
Honestly, that's me if I worked retail. The old librarian accepts Bastian once he finds out the kid is a big book nerd, and even suggests giving the bullies a punch in the nose. I do love his expression when he finds out that Bastian just isn't a fighter. He himself is reading a book that isn't safe, being all mysterious about it, and saying it's not for him. So of course Bastian steals it, the title of the book of course being The Never-Ending Story. He takes it to school and goes into the attic that looks like a dope hangout spot, honestly. Could play some Yu-Gi-Oh up there. Bastian reads the book and we are introduced to this world. Up to this point everything was pretty normal. And then suddenly, Willy Wonka whip-off, a sleepy bat, a wok with eyes, the homeless dude down the street, and Turbo the racing snail.
Don't worry, it's a racing snail.
It's a lot to take in, but my god, the effects, the makeup, the puppetry, all of it is incredible. Yes, they are easy to tell puppets, but again, it's all there. There's clearly a lot of love that went into it. I love every little bit of detail. I really miss seeing these effects in movies today, because now none of it is real. 80% of Marvel movies is just cheap CGI, and when they say it's live action, it's still all CGI. Anyway, I love this scene here, doing a great job at size difference, with the camera tricks and how different the species of this fantasy world are, and just how large Fantasia the world is. Because even the character Nighthawk doesn't even know what the Walkbiter who showed up is.
Is he a nutcase? No, he's a rock biter. A rock biter? A rock biter?
Oops, sorry.
Poor baby.
The scene turns from quirky to bleak as he explains his home was destroyed by a strange force, leaving literally nothing in its wake, like some sort of nothing. The others explain the same thing has happened to them, and they're on a mission to go to the Ivory Tower to tell the Empress. As they leave, we get our first look at the Nothing, as it comes in like a huge dark cloud and obliterate trees, and I just love the look of it. The Nothing is a terrifying force, and this is all we see. It's just these kind of shots, and I love the look of the destruction it causes, that get more and more intense as the movie goes on. They travel to the Ivory Tower. This could be like a fun D&D scenario, I realized. I love the use of miniatures for some shots, because you just don't realize it. You don't realize it, but then it's like, oh yeah, they are just miniatures. And then the big reveal of a tower with gorgeous music. So this is just a painting, but I love they added the trees swaying in the breeze down at the bottom to make it a bit more real. And the tower looks like a giant flower bud coming out of a mountain, which is just hella unique. But here is where it gets really weird, creepy, and very funny. The Empress is dying and can't do anything to stop the Nothing. And I just want to point out the creepy but amazing designs here. They put so much effort into this scene to show off all the different creatures of Fantasia, with some of them looking straight out of nightmares. But then there's also just a fish. I love them. And this kid here, who looked like he got like the last costume on the rack that was just thrown together, I love it. He looks so disappointed. But also, it was while watching this movie for this review that I saw this for the first time. And I've seen this movie like 100 or so times, like more than that for sure. But this is the first time I saw this. Here at the meeting is C-3PO, Ewoks, E.T., Mickey Mouse, Gumby, and this later scene, Yoda. Yoda is in this movie. Mickey Mouse is somehow in this movie. So then who's this? Mike Wazowski? Jonathan?
Oh, Jonathan!
And then there's this horse just sitting there with a jockey on him. Or are they one entity? So many questions. I have watched this movie, as I said, hundreds of times, and only just noticed this. Is this like some weird Mandela effect or something? What is happening? I don't know. I don't know if I hate it or I love it. It's definitely, I'm gonna notice it every time I see this scene now, and it's just, I'm gonna keep a lookout for any other Easter eggs, because why? Why? Moving on. A warrior is going to fight for nothing, but dun dun dun, it's a child named Atreyu. Honestly, Atreyu is the reason why I like long-haired men and never felt afraid to have long hair when I was a kid. Gotta understand, I was, a little tiny child watching this movie, and just seeing like a boy with like long hair and it looking really good, and it's just like, I love it, I love long hair, I want long hair now. And still very much do love long hair on men. Though they thought they were getting a warrior, Atreyu though is their only hope, and so they take his weapons away, for some reason that's not explained, and give him the Orin to help guide him. So now the real journey begins as Atreyu sets off with Artax. The scenery, the music, it's beautiful. I love these scenes. But there's something following Atreyu. Gamork. Generally was creeped out by him as a kid with the green eyes lighting up, and just like the quick little shots and flashes we got of him. It's a really cool way to introduce this like villain that's always there kind of stalking this character. Atreyu and Artax west up, and it's a really cute moment between the two. Artax seems like the best horse anyone could ever ask for. I hope nothing bad happens to him. Please. The two continue their journey with more scenes showing Fantasia and Gamork, but with nowhere else to go, they head to the Swamps of Sadness to find Morla, the Ancient One. But things don't go so well. Yep, oh god, this is the moment that traumatized millions of children and adults, and it's only 32 minutes into the movie, and we've known Artax for around 5 minutes.
Artax, you're sinking! Come on, turn around! You have to now! Come on, Artax!
Every every time I watch it, you forget how quick it is to get to this scene. So yeah, the Swamps of Sadness get to Artax. It's not a pleasant scene to watch. It's really sad with great acting by Noah Hathaway.
Stupid horse! You gotta move or you'll die! Move, please!
Like, he does do a tremendous job in the movie, especially when you hear how bad things were for him making this movie, but, like, I'm not here to get into that. But seriously, he does a tremendous job here. Because now you got everyone crying, including Bastian. The movie does cut to him every now and then, but does do a good job of saying this kid is reading a book. We are along for the journey, and so cutting to him never feels like it's taking away from the movie. It's basically his reactions are our reactions. Atreyu continues along and eventually discovers Morla, a giant turtle, and Bastian screams. It's a neat moment that they could hear him, but like, why the scream? Imagine being in a library and a kid suddenly screams because they read a turtle showed up. It's one moment that doesn't quite work. The whole scream moment, like with the characters like being able to hear it, yes, that works, but him screaming at that moment just doesn't work for me. Morla isn't much help, constantly sneezing, blowing him out of a tree, and he hasn't talked to anyone in years that he talks to themselves. I feel like this part of the movie is a bit slow and boring, and the sneezing joke is too repetitive, but nowadays I could look at it and like appreciate how good the puppetry is, and the sense of scale is really well done. So I can look at this scene now and go, yeah, it's boring, but it looks great. Atreyu learns that he could ask the Southern Oracle for help, but it's 10,000 miles away. So all seems hopeless, and at the same time Bastian's school has finished for the day, but he remains behind to keep on reading, like a nerd. Suddenly it's all dark and stormy as Atreyu is looking defeated. Gamork is on his tail, but when all seems lost, the good boy, the best dragon around, Falcor comes down with mystifying music, the clouds, the effects of him flying. All of this still looks great. I really love it, and it's a good like little tense scene. It's fun, and it really does make you go, okay, maybe not that noise. Seriously, what was that? Atreyu wakes up a few days later, bandaged and laying in the arms of a dragon. It should be me. I really love everything about this scene. How incredible the puppetry is on Falcor. It still looks incredible. You can tell what he is portraying with each facial expression. The design being a mix of like scales and fur, giving him a pretty unique look I haven't really seen. Like, he is such a recognizable dragon that you can easily point him out in the crowd of dragons. Obviously I loved him, I inked him into my arm. So I am very biased, but I still think it holds up really well to a point that it's sad this kind of puppetry is barely seen in movies. Because the whole point of movies is to kind of shut your brain off and just kind of just enjoy what's on offer. And this is one of those movies that really like feels like a fantasy. Like I mentioned before, there's this scene in the How to Train Your Dragon live action movie that could have easily been a puppet with a layer of CGI over the top if you really want to do that, but you could have easily make it a puppet that's just laying there. I don't see why they didn't. And then you have the actual actor interacting with an actual thing, especially compared to this scene from Lilo and Stitch, where Lilo points completely in the wrong direction and is clearly not even looking at Stitch as she speaks. How did they not put like a puppet there for her to look at? So mistakes like this don't happen. It just feels like lazy filmmaking. But anyway, this is just like a nice, relaxing scene after dealing with, you know, horse drowning. Movie kind of slows down to introduce you to the luck dragon Falcor, showing his quirky personality, like needing help with an itch.
Here?
Yeah.
And just being cheeky with Atreyu.
And you're on a quest.
How'd you know that?
You were unconscious. And you talked in your sleep.
Honestly, I will say this is one scene that looks great in 4K because of the way that all the night is all lit up and all the little stars and then like Falcor and all that. It looks great in 4K for sure. He did help on his quest, taking him exactly 9,891 miles. Why not all the way? Because he's a luck dragon, not a taxi dragon. Funny joke, Blazie. But I do like this line here.
Never give up, and good luck will find you.
It's hard for me to believe in that, honestly, but sometimes you just have to trust in luck. Falcor tells him there is more than him here before giving him this goofy smile. So we are introduced to Urgel and Engelwook, the apparent kind old man from the trailer, the two of them being gnomes and very much like smaller than everyone else. Urgel is helping him to heal up while Engelwook's scientific speciality is the Southern Oracle. So he is excited to show Atreyu how to get there.
The observatory. To the witch!
So here, once again, I love the use of miniatures. I love the model of Urgel spinning the wheel, and then Engelwook is also just like a mechanical model in the basket. But you don't even think about it because just how nice it all looks. And it does go back and forth between the shots that it all blends in nicely. But then what really works is when the two are on screen together looking through the telescope. The use of split screens and such is extremely effective in making them look like they're both on screen together. Up here we see the first of two gates that Atreyu must pass through, with Engelwook explaining that most people can't even pass the first gate, as the Six's eyes remain closed until someone who does not feel their own worth tries to pass by. And if on cue, a knight in shining armor shows up, and it ends badly. The best part is Engelwook knows how it's going to end, but he is just having fun. He's seen enough death.
Go on, scaredy cat. Oh, go on.
And a good and kind gnome.
At least the horse is fine though, thank God. But even after seeing that, Atreyu runs down to go do it himself. It's a pretty good, intense scene, where I can't show too much because holy God, the Sphinxes have massive bazongas. Those are just straight up big titties. Nice. But either way, while the blue screen is the worst here, the intensity, the awesome music, the knight's helmet coming up subtly, making Atreyu start to doubt himself, adding to the said scene, it's great. Because once again, you are Bastion. As an audience member, you are screaming, telling him to run. So again, this is another scene that just really works out so well. In the end, Atreyu makes it just in time. But it's not over yet. He now has a second gate, which was described as being much worse, where you have to face your true self, making most men run away screaming. Suddenly he's in the snow. He sees a giant mirror that slowly fades into Bastion. Honestly, I still don't really understand this scene. It's a good scene with, again, the music and all, but what it truly means, I'm not entirely sure. I get that, he's oh, he's not real, it's all fantasy, and he's just a character in a book, and Bastion is reading said book, but then how does that explain the ending of Falcor and Bastion? Because it's quite clear Fantasia is also real, but maybe there is more to it. There's an Indian hunting a buffalo on Bastion's bag. He even has a picture of an Indian in his bedroom. So then, it asks the question, did Bastion bring Atreyu into existence in Fantasia? Is every character in Fantasia a character someone dreamt up or read about in the Neverending story? Because no one knows of Atreyu. All they know is the Plains people had a great warrior named Atreyu. So is that just something Bastion created? Does the main character change appearance based on who is reading the story? Does the main character's story change whenever someone new reads the book? It's just kind of fascinating to me that I'm still asking questions about this movie. Maybe it's explained better in the actual real book. Either way, it's a scene that happens, freaking out Bastion, making him throw the book and just start to question if I might know him in Fantasia. Atreyu then goes through the mirror in not very convincing effect. And suddenly he's at the Southern Oracle, which, gotta love, they were pretty lazy just using the first gate Sphinxes, but just changed them blue. It's fine, as it's just a quick scene. They are watting away as they explain he needs to find a human child beyond the boundaries of Fantasia to give the Empress a new name. So he runs off, and this is where we get the scene that made kids everywhere want to ride a dragon. Now, I understand the simplicity of how they did this. You got a boy, you got a puppet, you got a green screen, and you got a fan. Ta-da! Like, it really is just that simple. I could recreate this scene. I'm not gonna. I'm lazy. But it really is quite simple. I also have nowhere to put a green screen. But in this film, they just make it so magical, so beautiful and charming with the incredible music.
All right, hang on tight.
It's so cheesy, and I love every second of it, and I hate that I love every second of it, but I do, because it's just magical. I mean, here's the thing. It will probably look better than any of the flying scene in the How to Train Your Dragon movie, because again, Falcor is there. I don't care. It's magical. And this, to me, is just one of the best moments in the film, because of how it just makes you feel. That said, I also love the first shot we get, and as well as the puppetry of Falcor's facial movements. Like, the way he laughs and the way his face scrunches up, it just looks really good. And yes, I've got to keep praising the puppetry, because it needs to come back into movies.
Then how do we find a human child?
With luck.
Faster, Falcor, faster!
It's just really good, and I love that laugh of his. I love how cheeky he is. Again, I am biased because, he's in my arm now for life. Mwah. Suddenly a storm, and the two get split up while a storm is happening in the real world too. Atreyu ends up in a desolated area destroyed by the Nothing, and has lost the Orin. But here he meets our old friend Rockbiter in a sad scene where he explains he couldn't hold on to his friends.
They look like big, good, strong hands, don't they?
So yeah, they're dead. What a lovely movie this is. So once again, everything is all sad and somber, and while we never do see what the Nothing truly is, it is effective. Now here's where it gets weirder, and where I think it's a product of the original actual book. Atreyu ends up in a cave that has paintings of his adventures as though it was destiny. That this was how it was supposed to be, or perhaps because he's done it all before. So I know in the book, spoiler alert, Bastion needs to say the name, but he doesn't. So it's just like some dude then rewinds time to the moment that you, dear reader, pick up the book and start reading it. The story starts all over again, multiple times I believe, until Bastion finally says the name. So yes, Atreyu has done this journey many times in the book. Not so much the movie, but then that's just part of my theory. It could simply be that each time someone picks up this book, Fantasia kind of needs someone. It needs a human child. And so they do this story with Atreyu, because that's the story that grips people. Once again, it's all just part of my theory that yes, Atreyu has gone through the adventure many times because of each new person who reads the book, making it the never-ending story. I don't know, it's one of those confusing moments that isn't really answered, but it also doesn't really need to be answered, because even better now is Atreyu comes face to face with Gmork, and God, I love it. It's such a creepy design, the glowing eyes, the voice, it's incredible. They really made him terrifying.
I am the Morg. And you, whoever you are, can have the honor of being my last victim.
And honestly, the older I get, the more this scene hits. Gmork doesn't realize the boy was the one he was hunting, and talks to him about the Nothing and Fantasia, explaining Fantasia is the world of human fantasy, and so has no boundaries.
That's not true! You're lying!
Foolish boy.
But then why is Fantasia dying?
Because people have begun to lose their hopes and forget their dreams.
This is so relevant even today. Hell, especially today. People really are losing hope. People really are giving up and forgetting their creativity. In a world of AI, creativity is dying. Fantasy is dying. Fantasia is dying because of us. Gmork explains what is Nothing. It's the despair. It's what's left when there are no dreams or hope. There's nothing. And he's been trying to help it, and I do love this speech here, that again is relevant.
Because people who have no hopes are easy to control.
I love his character. It's a reminder to not lose hope. Gamork then explains he is a servant of a power behind the nothing, which does make it more confusing as to who he's serving exactly, but again, maybe that's a thing of the book or something, I don't know. Which is one of those things that then makes it annoying that then you translated it from book to movie and didn't bother, making it all add up. But at the same time, that's kind of a fun part of this movie, is the mysteries. But he was also then said to kill the only one who could have stopped it. Atreyu reveals himself, and the two have a very short fight. It sucks, but I get it. Again, I guess that's the limitations of puppetry. But it really didn't need to be a long fight or anything like that. And like that said, the blood on his hands always comes out of shock, because that level of, gore is so sudden. Nothing else is like it in the movie. Falcor then dives into water to get the Orin. I just love the aquarium fish swimming around. I feel like it's a glass panel with a thin layer for the fish and he's just behind it or something like that. So I just kind of love it. But then the nothing is destroying the area, which again, awesome effect, even if the way Atreyu walks here is pretty hilarious. Falcor rescues him in time, but Fantasia has been completely destroyed, so they're just floating out of space, essentially. It's somber, but I love the contrast of this flying scene compared to the other one. It's a different feeling. All does seem lost, but Atreyu holds onto the oar and hoping it guides them to the ivory tower. And there it is, hiding behind a rock. The music blares once more as I head towards it, with some shots I really love, again as Falcor flies to it. They get there and Atreyu walks aside while Falcor waits behind. It's weird. It's like he knows this is where his story ends for him. So it's just kind of sad. And so here we are finally introduced to the childlike Empress. She really gives a great, mystifying, weird performance that just works in being so odd but fitting for her character. Because while Atreyu says to her he failed, she says, no, you haven't.
Brought him with you. Who? The Earthling child. The one who can save us all.
And she knew about the Earthling child the whole time. And I love Atreyu's reaction of just,
My horse died. I nearly drowned. I just barely got away from the nothing. For what? To find out what you already knew?
I love that, because it's she freaking knew his horse would slowly drown to death, and was just yep, here you go, on your way, I don't care, have fun, no weapons as well. But it was all to get in touch with the Earthling, to make him, kind of suffer and journey with him. I totally understand that in a book sense, or just a character sense of, you want to know where this story for this character goes. And Bastion is quite shocked by this.
He is very close, listening to every word we say. What?
The palace is slowly being destroyed, and this is where the movie gets hella meta. She says that he doesn't understand that he's already part of a never-ending story. Oh, she said the name of the movie, haha.
The never-ending story? What's that?
But then says, while he is sharing all your adventures, others are sharing his, aka us, the audience.
They were with him when he took the book, with the Orin symbol on the cover, in which he's reading his own story, right now.
Now, as a kid, I kind of thought she meant there was a book on Bastion reading about the never-ending story and following him, so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm just really dumb, okay? But yep, she is speaking about the audience watching this movie about a boy reading a book, and that is trippy. That is trippy. I love it so much. As I mentioned, the original book also did a trippy thing of talking about you, the reader, picking up the book. So it's basically just doing the same thing here as the audience watching the movie that's watching Bastion and so on and so forth. But if Bastion doesn't help, their world will disappear, and so will her. Never mind Atreyu. Nah, she only cares if she disappears. Again, it's just a funny line to me. But Bastion is kind of going through a crisis. All he needs to do is give her a new name, but before he does, Atreyu dies? Question mark?
Atreyu, no! Atreyu!
Sure. More meta-ness as the Empress looks right down the camera at Bastion, and again, incredible acting from her.
Bastion! Please! Save us!
But he was to keep his feet on the ground, basically going all the way back to the start of the movie with his dad, telling him to like stop drawing horses and so on, and not letting his mum death get in the way of the important things. So this is him dealing with that trauma and him just like, no, I can't do this. This is not real. This is fantasy. This is just a book. This is silly for me to imagine such things. But he finally screams out her new name. As a kid, no one knew what the hell he screamed out. Once you know what it is, it's like, oh, okay, so what is it? Moonchild. That name is specifically what his mum's name was, who passed away. So it's his mum's name which he yells out, and like, that's his dream. Like, she tells him, do what you dream, and this was what he dreamed. So while that is a bit of a weird line, that his dream is just to, like, say his mum's name, I guess his dad is like, yeah, move on, while he still feels the need to just scream out to her. Dad is abusive. Let's be real here. So anyway, the name is Moonchild, so he had a hippie for a mum. But then all fades to black and Empress and Bastion are there together with just one last grain of sand left. But it's not the end of Fantasia. Fantasia can become real once more within Bastion. All he has to do is make a wish, and the more wishes he makes, the more beautiful Fantasia becomes. But I do love this line here.
What are you going to wish for? I don't know. And there will be no Fantasia.
Wow, girl. Wow, what a way to just make him feel guilty and like blackmail him, I guess. But he does make a wish and the music starts up and his first wish was to ride on Falcor. Yeah, same kid, same. Not to wish Atreyu back to life and his horse. Nah, I'm a ride on this dragon. But no, all of Fantasia is back, Rockbiter and the lot are okay, like the nothing never happened, and yes, even Atreyu and Artax are alive. Falcor then asks Bastion what he would like to wish for next, and then we are back to the human world for a little fun quirky ending of Falcor chasing down the bullies from the beginning. It's dumb looking, but it's such a feel-good little moment at the end. It's dumb looking, but it's such a feel-good ending after all the trauma we had gone through. And that's the never-ending story. And I weirdly wanted to cry when I wrote that in the script. I really love this movie. There's no need for me to rate it because you know it's a 10 out of 10 Foxes for me and I just rated it. Good job, Blazie. But you know that. That's quite obvious at this point. Even today, there's still things I'm finding and questioning about this movie. I absolutely adore the music score. The acting is pretty good. Bastion isn't the best sometimes. Like, he does good other times. He does good sometimes. Other times, not so good. The story, while simple, does get pretty meta and has some really dark moments. The puppetry is extremely impressive and the use of models is very well done. It's a magical movie that really is a movie. It's there to entertain and it certainly does that while making you feel all these emotions. I highly recommend it, even though I just told you the whole entire story, I still highly recommend it if you haven't watched it yet. You need to experience these moments for yourself. Sit down, turn off the lights, and enjoy the wonder of a never-ending story. And I hope you enjoyed this review of one of my favourite movies. Please do give this video a like, and I do have a PayPal down below if you want to help support me. I've been filming for over an hour, Jesus Christ, this is going to be a long video, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, but I do have, PayPal and a coffee all linked down below if you like what I do. Please support me, I really appreciate it. I have a Blue Sky, follow me over there. Hit that like button, leave a comment or two, have fun with the comment section, do stuff down there, and subscribe to my channel because I love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and VitoFox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.